As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Please don't let me, I'm gonna die!
Taking them so long.
Hey, these guys are professionals. They're the best.
Totally. I hate a guy with a car and no sense of humor.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Oh, yeah, the Great Bambino. Of course. I thought you said the Great Bambi.
It's the Al Travis Show, and we're lucky to have our next guest in. New to the program, new to us. He is Senator Gene Dornink. Am I pronouncing that correctly, sir? Dornink. Say it again? Dornink. Thank you very much for coming on. Let's let folks know who you are. You're the senator from down in southeastern Minnesota. What counties do you are you the legislator for? Yeah.
Thank you. Great to be here. District 23, which is all of Freeborn County.
Okay.
Almost all of Mauer, Steele, Waseca, parts of those, and then parts of Fairfield.
Wow, that is a large district, my friend. I thank you for coming in and doing the show. Give us the background. What did you do before? Have you always been in politics? What got you to be a senator here in Minnesota?
So I grew up on a farm, a dairy farm, where you learn a lot about life, hard work.
Hard work for sure.
And then, just a little about my life. So I'm a carpenter. So
Okay.
I was a union carpenter for 22 years. Got laid off in 09 like a lot of people did. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And started my own business. So, and then how to get into this? Well, I got to go back to high school. We had some great, one of my favorite teachers was a history teacher of
Okay.
history and government. And he used to do news notes, and we had to write them on the board.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd erase them and have a pop quiz, but it got me interested in current events,
Okay.
paying attention. Shorten the story, it's got a lot of other things, but Randy Demmer in 2010 was going to retire. He's a representative from Hayfield, and that's where I
Yep.
was at that time in Dodge County, and he encouraged me to run, and I'm like, I don't think I'm qualified. to do
Yeah.
that. And then he said, hey, no, we need people with your experience.
Sure.
So 2010 I did not run, but then in 2016 I did, and ran against Senator Sparks, great guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
And so I lost in that election, and then 2020, I'll give it one more shot. So we won in 2020.
All right, fair enough. And right there during the midst of COVID, good for you. Good times, I presume. What a great start.
Yeah, that was a tough year to campaign for sure.
Okay.
But we did it.
So you go in 2020. Now you'll be running again here in 26. The difference between the last biennium and this one, can you give me? I mean, you're new to it. The first one you ran was not normal. I mean, COVID. I mean, it wasn't in the normal way we do business. And this last one surely was not. I mean, what I'm saying, the trifecta with the Democrats in charge. What do you see as the difference between the last one and this one?
Well, I'll actually go to the first one because
Okay.
I was, there we were in the majority.
Yep.
So we were Republicans in the majority, 34, 33, and then when you go into the minority, it's almost it's kind of good to see, to understand, to be in the minority because it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
And, so we had the majority and then switching, but then to go to a trifecta,
Mm-hmm.
that is awful.
Yep.
Because unfortunately, sometimes what happens is that they want to get so much done, and there was 4 more moderate Democrats at the beginning of the session. I thought, okay, there's going to be a lot of stuff going through here, but this is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen because I kind of got the feel that they weren't going to vote for those things.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure is increased, and so a lot of stuff. We had, we go over it just real quick.
Yeah.
We've heard it many times. The $19 billion surplus.
Yeah.
The budget was $52 billion in the
2022 budget. Yep.
Yeah, and then it went up to $72 billion. They burned through the $19 billion surplus, and then raised the government 40%. Just too much, very frustrating, and we couldn't stop them. So,
But no, we must give credit where credit's due, if I will. Senator, of course, they spent $20 billion, and the state seems so much better now. Let's see, education, wait a minute, down in almost every category. Out of the extra $20 billion, which, like you say, is a 40% increase, Can you tell me what remarkably is better in Minnesota? The roads seem roughly the same. I guess I'm missing something. What is it that's better for $20 billion, sir?
Well,
Your opinion.
I'll do a couple of good things because I raised a lot of kids, and you want to be positive when you can.
Sure.
First. So, the bonding, we got a good bonding bill. There's
Okay.
a lot of infrastructure that needed in Austin. They have been waiting for a wastewater treatment plant for many years, and then now Elberly needs one, but we give them some money for $2 million. But yes, the government grew. I heard 5,000 or 6,000 new full-time employees in government. It's just not a good thing. So we are hopefully now we're facing this $6 million deficit. There's some real issues that we need to deal with, and both sides need to. We can always learn from the other side. No one party or person has all the answers, so we do so much better when we work together.
Okay, that all sounds great, sir, and I love that you have kids and you're trying to do it that way. But let's be honest. If you have a $17 billion surplus and you raise taxes by $10 billion, and now they're looking at a deficit, is not every dollar anyone's going to bet on this is that they're going to say we need to raise taxes? I mean, if they raise taxes when you have extra, they surely must think they got to raise taxes when you don't have enough, right? I mean, that's what we're looking at.
Well, there's Speaker of the House Damon said that that's a non-starter, so they are not going to be able to raise.
For her, but what about your side, Senator?
Well, that's where I stand. The people didn't get their tax relief. Just a couple spots that did. But no, for me, I am an absolute no to taxes increase. We need to cut. It's going to be difficult because but the governor is looking at cutting, our most vulnerable, the seniors, disabled, and that's a non-starter with us too. But
see, that's gamesmanship, isn't it? Though, I mean, you've been here, you follow along. The governor never is going to cut those programs, but he says it's a aim real far to this side, let them all yell and scream, and I will give up that. Okay, I will give that up. It's just playing poker. He's going to give that up. We won't hurt the poor and the mentally handicapped. We'll help them. I'll take that back. But you're going to have to give me something, and that's where, we're going to have to raise some taxes. It just seems like bad poker playing from what I'm saying. He doesn't want to hurt the mentally ill.
Well, if you go back to the last budget, the $300 million that the Republicans fought for nursing homes, nursing homes are closing. We fought tooth and nail for that. That was one thing we did get in that budget last time. So, part of what you say, I agree with. Part of it, I don't know. He just doesn't seem like with that wasn't in his. I think it's $5 million that he has in this budget.
I shouldn't ask questions I don't know the answer to because it could be bad. Did you go to State of the State on Wednesday?
I did not.
Okay, I've had two on there that hadn't been in either. You read about it. I guess I was going to ask you your thoughts. The guy goes up there, and I would presume if I'm putting Senator Dornink on the podium, just finding out who you are, you're going to start with some good stuff. Here's the things we got going on. Here's how the state's looking. It wasn't. It was Orange Man bad from almost the start to finish. Is he running for president, or is he going to run for governor again? Your thoughts? He could have admitted about Minnesota and how good it is, and I would have said, okay, he's running for governor.
Well, no one's ever run for a third term.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't run again, but that's up to him. As far as his presidential run, it seems like that's something he likes. He liked that stage. He liked the attention he got. So, of course, I don't know. My opinion would be that I think he probably will, but, there's time yet, and we don't know for sure. I mean, he's got quite a bit to do here. But we want to focus in on the end of session. We need to balance the budget, and many times we get focused on Washington, and that's not my focus.
I completely agree. Let's do this. Let's go to break real quick. When we come back, we'll talk about the budget. Where do you think that's going to end up? What gets cut? What doesn't? There's a bonding bill out there. You talked about Albert Lee needs a little something. Is that going to be in there? We'll talk about all that coming up next with Senator Gene Dornink on the Al Travis Show.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
Amongst friends, the Al Travis Show. Nothing but talk.
We've got him, Senator Gene Dornink, in. He is the senator from 23, District South, Eastern Minnesota. We appreciate him having you. And I find out at the break, and I got to share. You have 12 children?
Yes.
Wowza. Okay, just did a story last week, found a story. It costs like $360,000. Some study does, on average, $360,000 to raise a kid from zero to through school. Do you know how rich you'd be, son? Oh, wow. 12 children. Good for you. What's the mix?
8 girls and 4 boys.
Wow. That is...
Oldest is 37, youngest is 17, so we have 2 in the household yet.
37 grandkids?
23 grandkids.
Okay. See, wow. Holy Hannah. Dornick's going to be around for a while. Let me ask you this. It must have something to do. You're a business owner. You're doing your thing. And like, say you were asked to run. And you're like, this isn't my gig. But you do, and I got to presume a lot of that has to do with 12 kids and 23 grandkids and what you want to have for them. Am I throwing it out there for you? Sure. So you get there. Give me your state of the state. You're the governor. You're sitting. What would be your state of state? Are we sitting okay? Are we going to be fine? Yes, I see $6 billion, but there's a portion of the other side that says we only got a balance for the next 2 years. We'll worrying about when we get there. Where are you on where we're sitting in the state of Minnesota?
Well, I think part of that's a big question that take me a long time to answer. But briefly, you know, when we were chairing at the beginning of the Senate, we had co-chairs and listening to the problems, and then I said that the answers are out in our districts we serve. We need to listen to those to get to the answers and solving these problems. And we spend too much money in the people's money, and households are hurting, and we as a government have increased. So my message would be, hey, we need to cut government. It grew by 40%. How many people in their budgets grew by 40%? I'm guessing none.
Yeah.
So we need to look at our own selves and cut government. Now it's going to hurt, and that's the fraud, waste, and abuse is a big one. We got $600 million that we know was gone.
Yeah, but
it's more than that.
But are you able to unbudget that? A lot of this, that's yeah. Go ahead. Oh yeah.
Fraud, and then let's stop it, and let's prosecute those people that were taking the people's money.
Well, and again, prosecuting is great. We've been talking on this show quite a little bit. We make laws that are almost wet pepper bags. They're so easy to steal from us. I would use this school thing here last week that came out that 15% of the people going to higher education are ghost students. Never even heard this term before until last week. Ghost students. They sign up for their federal and their Minnesota grant programs to go to college, and they sign up all over the state, all over all these different schools, and they don't go. They have to fake it for 10 days, check clears, and they go. They leave. They walk away. They're not doing anything. They could be in the middle of their grandmother's basement in Tennessee for all we know. And the guy that Century College said it's 15% of his kids in 2023 were ghost kids. And he said the only way he can think about making it work is have them show up one day at least in the semester to shake hands with the teacher, know that they're human beings. And he literally said, but that'd be really hard. And I think to myself, I'm old. I don't know. We didn't have computers, but we all had to go to school to get the money to go to school. You had to be in class. We don't ask that much out of them. A kid with a name can take money from us if he's got a computer. They're feeding our futures. You have 4,000 people you're feeding. What if you gave us names for 5,000? We'll send you more money. If you make it 9, you know what I'm saying? We don't make it hard to steal from us. Can we, what is it? The Office of Management and Budget has to figure out if the bad budget works. Could you put some safeguards like that in, and the Office of Management and Budget say, guess what? We'll save $100 million if we just make them have an ID to go to school. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem hard.
No, I don't understand that. I mean, in the business world, we have to keep track.
Exactly.
They're continuing to, make the dollar go further and to survive in business, and the government just continues to raise taxes. It's never enough.
Yeah.
So I think we need different leadership. Is what I think part of it is.
But we're 18 months away from having that option, and Minnesota hasn't changed that option in many years. You were last in the 6 years ago when you were last in charge, at least in the Senate, but statewide we haven't for forever.
Governor, I think it's been almost 20 years since the Republicans had a governor.
Yeah. So is this, in your opinion, the right time? I don't know if people are sleeping at the switch. They just don't care anymore. But you look at the amount of fraud. You brought up $600 million just walked out the door. You look at $6 billion deficit. You look at $18 billion was spent. And appreciatively, I can't tell you how much my life is better. I really can't. Is it now time for Republicans to get serious and run real candidates and take this thing over and say, give us a shot? Yeah. And I'm putting you on the spot, and I don't know you well enough to do this, and I apologize. The Democrats line up for these seats. You look at the U.S. Senate seat. There's 6, 7 people looking that they're going to, on the Democratic side, run for that. Where are the Republicans? The governor may or may not run, but we should have people lining up for that governor seat now saying, I don't care if it's Walz or who comes in, I want in. And the same with the other 5, statewide seats. Why are the Republicans so quiet? This looks to me like you're never going to see a better advantage Republican, if you're ever going to have one in Minnesota, but we don't seem to be lining up. Am I missing something?
Well, I would say that first that those in the Senate and the House that may have aspirations of doing that are not going to bring that out until after they get their work done, because the priority one is the budget. That is second.
So you're there every day. You're hearing those rumors. Are there people? Now, come on. Okay. I'm not asking a name. I'm not.
But I do want to go back to the state of the state, the schools. Back to our schools are hurting, and we just had the policy bill last night, and Senator Coleman was the minority leader, and just hearing her heartfelt, hey, this is what's going on, and sharing that all these superintendents, teachers, school board members came in, and we didn't listen to them. The mandates, and a lot of these schools are in trouble. Some of them are laying off, so we need to listen and help our schools and businesses and just the working class Minnesotans that are overtaxed, overregulated, and the farm economy too. That's another one.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of things that are concerning.
Fair enough. Sir, I am completely out of time. I want to thank you very much for taking the time to come on. We've not had you on before. It's a pleasure to meet you. The door is always open. If you'll pardon the phrase, you're always welcome to come on. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate you. And say hi to the entire... I can't even think what Thanksgiving's like at your place. We'll be back with more right after this on the Al Travis Show.